Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Live It Up, the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life that feels good. Because after all, that's what we ultimately want. We want to feel good. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson. Amy is out today, so we're going to be taking the opportunity to speak with a local entrepreneur here in the area who specializes in real estate. Now, you've likely seen her here on this channel, on the NCW Life channel, hosting her own show, At Home with NCW Life, featuring Crystal Hughes. Crystal is a successful real estate broker who is so passionate about what she does that she decided to write a book for her clients and potential clients and anyone thinking about listing or buying real estate. Now, anytime I hear someone wrote a book, I'm impressed. Why? Because it takes something to do that. It takes dedication, time, thought. There's a lot that goes into it. So we'll be chatting with Crystal later after the commercial break and find out more about the book, the process of writing it, and about what she's up to in her business and life. So stick around for that. But before we go any further, I want to remind you that if you have questions that you would like us to answer on or off the air, you can email those directly to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com. You don't need to suffer and try to figure it out all on your own. There are answers and solutions. There are ways to get unstuck and move forward powerfully. Now, I want to remind you also that you can visit me at my website, www.fletcherellingson.com. I've got a number of free resources there to check out. Sign up, get my free online course, get a free copy of my ebook, or you take the happiness quiz. Get a bird's eye view of how your life is going. And I'll personally send you feedback on the results. And you can also listen to my podcast there. So check it out. It's a great way to stay in the personal development conversation. Now, we're going to take a minute to read an email and give a little bit of feedback. So it says, hello, Fletcher. I've been in sales most of my working life. I enjoy it, but the one thing I don't like at all is the feast and famine cycles. My product is not a seasonal product, so it doesn't make sense why sometimes things get busy and go so well, and other times it's quiet and things seem to be really bumpy. I love creating momentum, and it's exhilarating when that momentum is here, but why can't I keep it going? I don't know why it runs out. I feel like I must be missing something. Thanks for any advice in advance. AR. All right, so AR, I'm so glad you wrote in and asked this question. First of all, I just want to remind you and everyone listening that reaching out, asking for advice, asking for counsel is a sign of strength. So thanks for doing that. The other thing I want to acknowledge you for is for bringing this particular subject to the table because it is so important. We're talking about creating momentum. And you're right, everyone loves the feeling of momentum. When you are experiencing momentum, it feels really good, right? It feels like you're in the flow of things. And so I want to get to the core of what momentum is. Like really, I mean, we use that word a lot. They have a lot of momentum. Oh, I'm really creating momentum. What does momentum mean? I'm going to give you a different definition, a definition that you likely haven't heard of. All right, and I use this in my coaching course. I want to invite you to consider that momentum just means that your thinking is aligned with your desired outcome. Your thinking is aligned with your desired outcome. And when our thinking is aligned with our desired outcome, we experience this thing called momentum. You see, frequently, we don't have thinking that is aligned with our outcome. We have this desired outcome that says, I want to sell X amount of things, or I want to generate X amount of dollars. So that's the desired outcome. Or we want to have this particular experience. Whatever the outcome is, we have a vision of that. And then we get to our thinking. And here's frequently what happens. And let me give you a concrete example, actually. My wife and I and my family, we go to Maui every single year because it's one of my favorite places in the world. Now, when I share that with people, people frequently say, oh my gosh, I would love to go to Maui every year. Now, there's the outcome. There's the desired outcome. Go to Maui every year. And in that moment, they're thinking, oh, that would be really fun. We would have such a great time if we did that. You can see their thinking is aligned with the outcome. And then, check this out. You'll see the very moment that they get out of alignment with their thinking. Because the next word out of their mouth is, but. But we don't have the money. But I don't have the time. But I only get 1 week of vacation. But, right? You can see that now they've forked their thinking and they're giving energy now to all the reasons why it won't work for them. And so it pulls them out of creativity. It pulls them out of collaboration with the universal forces. It knocks them completely out of the opportunity to continue to explore this idea of going to Maui or whatever the outcome is that they want. It's kind of like, let me give you an example. I call it forked thinking, right? Where you have a thought and then your thinking forks off to another. It's kind of like irrigation lines. So the irrigation water goes in, and if you have one sprinkler on that line, the water hits that, it pops it up, and you're going to have a lot of force. You're going to have a lot of flow and force for watering. But then if you add on a second one, you're going to have a little less flow for that first one because it's got to have enough force to go up and make the second sprinkler pop up. Now, if you add a third and a fourth and a fifth one, eventually what you see is diminished flow, diminished force, because there's just simply not, because you've made so many forks in the irrigation line, it can't work as efficiently. That's what happens to our thinking, right? We begin thinking in alignment with what we want, and then this but comes in and it forks our thinking, and we begin thinking of all the reasons why it can't work, and it takes us out of alignment. It takes us out of creativity. It cuts us off from the possibility of that desired outcome. Now, we can get this intellectually. It's another thing to practice it, but I want to invite you to begin to practice it. Begin to notice where your thinking gets forked and where it takes you out of momentum. AR, thanks for the email. I know you can do this, and I believe in you. Stick around. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes to talk with Crystal Hughes about real estate, her book, and what she is up to. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you're in this conversation. And today I'm really excited because we are talking with somebody local here. I'm sure you've seen her around, and especially if you've been watching this channel, you've seen her on her own program. Today we're talking with Crystal Hughes, founding agent of Crystal Estates at EXP Realty. Crystal, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about something cool that you've done recently, and we're going to get to that after the commercial break, but we'll give them a quick preview. It does have to do with a new book you've written, right?
Woo, yes.
Yes, all right, it's very exciting. And anybody who writes a book, I'm super impressed with, because I know it takes a lot. But we're going to get to that after the commercial. But before that, I want to let people get to know you if they haven't ever met you. You're a real estate broker here in the area, and a successful one at that. And what I first want to know is, tell us what's working well in your life, because we like to start off with what's working well. We want to focus on the positive. So give us a win or two.
I love that. Yeah, thank you again so much for having me. And I love that, like the wins in our lives. I think that's a great question. So one of the things that I've learned along the way from mentors and coaches is, what does success look like, right? Those wins are when you feel like you're in alignment with your goals. And it's not always the easiest track to get there, but some of the wins we've been having is 8+ years into the real estate industry and coaching agents along the way, taking leadership classes, taking some classes on how to educate. And through some of the losses, you get these wins. And what's happened is, had people reach out and ask me to coach, and as you know, one of the truest forms of learning is the art of teaching, right?
Yeah.
And so through this teaching process, I've had agents say, you should start your own real estate team and we'll be on your team and we can help you and we can help more people together. And so that has been a really wonderful, amazing blessing that has come along. And I'm in the process of finalizing my managing broker's license so we can make it officially official.
Right on. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's got to feel really good, doesn't it?
It's great to have everyone in our corner and to have that same mission and vision, right? So when their alignment with their goals and their life and the same type of business and service that they want to give their clients, it's all alike. And so it does feel good to be able to serve our community in that like fashion.
Yeah, and I know you're growing, you're expanding, you're evolving personally and professionally. In this journey, what's been a challenge that you've gone through that ultimately has made you stronger?
Sure, gosh, there's so many things I can think of that, you have transactions that might not come together, or personal and life opportunities or risks that maybe you didn't take, or an opportunity that you did take that maybe didn't work out. And I found that everything, does help us build our character, right? And it's a matter of how we kind of deal with it and go along with it. And I have experienced, like you said, challenges along the way in many different forms. But specifically, I think that when you reach this point where your business needs a little bit more of your attention. You're helping enough people where naturally, as one person, you can only do so many things. And so you reach a point in a ceiling where maybe mistakes happen or things fall off. You're not able to give the best kind of service. And so that was where there was a challenge kind of coming along the way, was wanting to coach people and help them grow, but not have everything in a system in place necessarily to be able to, we max out, right? Like we have a ceiling, just like as a job maybe, or a salary-based income potentially, right? There's a cap. And so same with the real estate businesses, you can only help so many people. And so my challenges were running into, there's like a SWOT analysis, right? Your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so I did my own SWOT on my business, and the challenges were the gaps. And so where were the opportunities and some of the threats, and was able to discover that I needed help to be able to better serve people. You go to the dentist and the dentist doesn't check you in, and he sure as heck doesn't send you the bill, right?
Yeah.
So a team of experts to help you to better serve your people.
Yeah, really good. So what I hear, just reflect back to you, is like you found out what max capacity looks like for operating in your life, and you realized, just like every entrepreneur, like you got a lot of space, a lot of plates spinning in the air, and you're like running back and trying to keep them spinning, and eventually, one or two fall, and that's really like the wake up call, like, oh, I need to bring some sense of team to this business that I'm building, and that becomes a very a new skill set that we have to develop. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It takes communication, and absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, really good, really good. What do you love about your job?
Ooh, I love that we're helping people get into something that's really, for a lot of people, a dream and one of their biggest decisions in their life, right? It's a financial decision. And so in a way, I consider my job more like an accountability partner. So like we help them and advocate for their dreams, and really not just the purchase and sale process, really understanding the legalities of the process and what to expect, but really to be almost like their accountability partner to help see to it that their dreams are achieved. And ultimately, Fletcher, I think you can totally relate to this. It comes back to stepping back and really understanding the person as a whole, because what is their bigger picture? What is their life goals and their legacy? And sometimes in the process, people will come to me and say, hey, I want this house with a pool. That's my dream. I want a house with a pool. Well, 3 houses later, we still do a pool, but the first 2 houses were investment properties. So it's really understanding the bigger picture for people. So I think I love that as not only being an agent, but an advocate.
Yeah. Again, this is really good stuff. What I heard you say was advocate. And that's so important for people to hear. Like when you're hiring somebody to assist you in the process of listing or selling your home, you're really getting an advocate, somebody who's on your team, somebody who's on your side, in your corner, right? And not only advocating for you, but also educating, right? Because most of us, we don't know the ins and outs of, it's a complicated process. I mean, sometimes it can go very smoothly, but as you know, it can also be extremely complicated. And if I'm going to be in that situation, I do want someone advocating for me and looking out for me. So glad that you mentioned that. I think that's something, sometimes people think, oh, I'll just list my home or I'll sell it, it'll be easy. Not so much. There's a lot of legality that common people, we don't know, but that is your specialty. So you're the
I
advocate.
do love that. Thank you for asking that. And to that point too, there is a lot of real estate agents to choose from, and excellent real estate agents to choose from, right? And everybody has an Uncle Carl or a cousin, Bob, that's in real estate. And so you're right, just finding the right person that is going to really advocate for you and also meets your needs. So
yeah, really good. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but stick around because Crystal's got a big announcement to make about the book she has written and what it's about, who it's for, and how you can get a copy for yourself. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. So glad you're here. And we are here with Crystal Hughes, founding agent of Crystal Estates at EXP Realty. And Crystal, tell us about the book.
thanks again for having me. Okay, so I go down to this private event down in Arizona, EXP event, okay? And I'm talking to this gentleman who owned 2 of his own real estate companies at 36 and written a book. And he asks me, what is your goal and your mission to help your clients and fellow realtors? And I said, well, I've got this idea to write a book, and I get the same questions over and over in consultations and when I'm talking to people. And so I want to help them with their goals, and I need to put it in a book form. I just don't know how to start. And he says, I'm not kidding you. I help authors write books. And he said, I just haven't called it anything yet. I don't actually have a program. And I said, let me be your first actual student for your program. So we created this program called the Triumphant Author Program. His name's Nicholas Trevelyan out of San Diego. And we'll have a published book in the next 4 weeks called Winning in Real Estate. Now, this book is for you guys, for the people viewing this today. It's kind of a play-by-play guide to purchase and selling success. Just a little bit about what I've learned over the years and my experience, kind of compiling it all, the wins and the losses, and just a few step-by-step things it's really more for first-time home buyers or investors that want to get started in real estate, or my fellow realtors. Not super, super high level, but some pretty much basic knowledge for winning in real estate.
I love it. What a cool story too, that out of your desire to do this. Whoops, is this something?
That was my Apple Watch, excuse me.
All right. Good. Tech. Gotta love it. So what I was saying is it's so cool that you were able to be the catalyst for this person to launch their business too. You have the desire to write a book. He's like, hey, I want to help you write this book. And out of it, this other company came. So super cool. And what I also like that I heard you say is you hear the same questions over and over and over again, right? As you deal with clients. So what you're doing now is able to just kind of document those questions and some of the answers that you would normally give. Is that accurate?
Exactly. So you take these maybe some even myths or concerns and fears about it and the process, and you put it into kind of a system and a process, and you help people with a better understanding and vision of what it really looks like. Because some people think it's really, really far out of reach. Some people are actively doing it, but maybe they're not even actively doing it at the higher level of process that they really could.
Yes. Ooh, I like what you touched on there, because there are a lot of myths out there, and people do have a lot of concerns / fears about it. Like, is this a foolish move? Is it a smart move? Is it going to come back to bite me? And like you said, they may just feel like it's way out of reach. without even ever having looked into it. So really cool.
Chapter 4 is winning in mindset, Fletcher, and it's all about your financial thermostat. And Tony Robbins talks about we have different thermostats in our lives, and one of them is financial. And just like a thermostat, we have a range, right? If you set your temperature 69 to 72, thermostat kicks in when you go outside of that. And so our comfort zone of where we think financially, and even our health of where we want to be, you know, our health, the health of our business, the health of our bodies, the health of our financial position, right? And so so I ask, even encourage people watching this today, where is our financial thermostat set? And maybe what is our limiting beliefs holding us back from achieving our goals? And who is it that we need to connect with in order to help us get there and just see maybe something from a different perspective?
I love all of that. Yeah. You know, I got to chime in real quick here on a personal note. When I got clear about my financial thermostat, you know, like, and got a very clear picture, my finances changed dramatically. Because before that, it was very ambiguous. I didn't have any sense of clarity around it. And so I was just kind of like, you know, kind of floating around without any real direction. As soon as I got clear about it, my behaviors changed, my results changed, and my experiences changed. So really love getting clarity about our finances and in every other area of our life. But
correct. And that's chapter 1 in the book, is really getting clear about your bigger why, you know, and your legacy and your bigger picture for your goals for your life. And then we actually talk buying and selling real estate. So
yeah. So how was the process for you? I mean, writing a big book is a big endeavor. I mean, there's a lot of it's an interesting process of, you know, getting what's up here on paper, right? Or onto your laptop or whatever, but getting it and articulating it in a clear manner. So how was that for you?
Yeah, thank you for asking, actually. So hopefully for anyone else who's maybe considering writing a book, to do it and just do it. Okay, like just write it down. And I think that one of the things that I've learned about myself in psychology is we have different archetypes. And one of them is this victim type, right? And so sometimes we hold ourselves back from being true and authentic and speaking our truth and writing our truth and holding ourselves back from creativity. And so I would just encourage anyone right now, there were times where I was like, I can't write a book. What do they want? They're not going to read this. But truly, if our why and our mission is to provide value for people, then if we remember that and we keep at it and don't give up, then we'll get there. So the process also was nice to have Nicholas to help me with it as my accountability partner. We use Marco Polo every day, often. When I felt discouraged, he would help me, give me ideas, but we were constantly in communication about what we needed to do. And we have a team of people to help us complete and write the book. And so as far as the creative process goes, that went how it went, but had that accountability to help and kept the bigger mission and why and purpose, and that helped.
Very cool. I like what you said. You're bringing an element of team to this new thing in your life called writing a book, right? And you're like, gosh, it seems daunting to do it all by myself, but it became much more manageable and accessible when you brought the element of team. Very cool.
Yeah, and I want to add to that really quick is Queen's Gambit is a popular show, right?
Sure.
Many people see it's about chess. And I love to play chess, have for a very long time. And I think that life is kind of like a strategy, right, in our game board. And it matters what moves we make. And so I did relate the book into Winning in Real Estate. There's some connections to chess. And so in Queen's Gambit, when she kind of has some fallouts and she goes back into depression and she's not winning in her games, when she does start to succeed again is when she pulls in her team and her people and her network and hires coaches, and then she ultimately wins.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for tying that in. Super cool. Hey, we just have a few seconds left. Real quick, how can people get a hold of you? How can they get a copy of this book and inquire with you about listing and selling?
Yes, so you can go to crystalestatesrealty.com to inquire about buying and selling. You can also directly get a hold of me online as well. My cell phone information is on there. Also, we will have a website, winninginrealestatebook.com. So that will be where you can get a copy of the book. And also we'll have a launch party on December 13th, Monday, December 13th. And so if you want to, just direct message me VIP and we'll get you an invite, and that will get you a signing of the book and some fun gifts.
Right on. Crystal, thanks so much for being on the show today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
You bet. All right. And now you know what it's time to do. It's time to get out there, be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution. You do have something to offer this world. and I believe in you.